My name is Lydia Boddie. I'm a mixed media fabric and paint collage artist. And I emphasize using fabric because most people use paper. And I love the joy of assembly. Welcome to my studio. I think art decided for me. I've always been a creative, surrounded by arts and culture growing up, and art really is in everything that I see. You know, I wake up in the morning, it's the color of the sky, it's the feathers on the birds, it's the tires on the car. I mean, there's just really art that kind of permeates and speaks to who I am. So part of the making experience is taking all of those fragments, all of those pieces, all of those experiences, memories, etc., that speak to me, and putting them together in a language on canvas. As far as influencers go, I would have to say it's really the same thing, because it shifts all the time. It's not just about people, it might be places and spaces, and it might be food, it could be anything that I think really has some kind of artistic relevance. And I really like to take advantage of being open to what art might specifically be and the people who actually manifest that. So, for instance, I have this wonderful collaborator in JJ who's doing some beading work for me on some of my pieces. And so inspirationally, when you see what someone else can add to what you're creating, it influences the next step in your journey. You know, how can I make this a little different? How can I push the boundary on this piece? How can I think about it differently? Especially if people are responsive to it. So art for me is everywhere and breathing. I don't know if I could think any differently about what would make up an art experience or influence, because it all does. I really am excited about the opportunities that what everyone is perseverating over now, which is AI. I'm more excited about the potential, not the replacement, perception of the damage that AI can do. I like to think of, again, it has helped me push boundaries on how my work is seen, interpreted, how I think about, my creative experience. And I think more students are open to it, but need to learn how to use it, especially in conjunction with, arts principles, arts and design, composition, all of that shouldn't go away, the power of discernment. And I think also marketing and promotion and writing is very important to, exposing your art. So even with AI and ChatGPT and all of that, you still have to be the originator of the material. You still have to, be very, constructive about how you create your brand. So it's still participatory, we still have control over it, but I still think there's a lot of fear around the unknown, and that it is taking art to a place where you're not a fine artist that is actually creating the illustration. I still think there's a lot of judgment. So I'd like to see there being more openness, and I'd also like to see more collaboration, more partnerships. I like the idea of collaborative pieces. I like the idea that artists can help enrich each other's experience and can learn from each other. So I'd like to see a lot more of that instead of this kind of silo ownership. And, branding can be whatever you make it. So I would like to see more collaborative opportunities, and collage kind of invites that. You can have multiple people working on a piece and they still have a place in it. I think I've always put myself in the land of not good enough, at least from a young age. I judge myself pretty harshly. And I also think that I have learned to suppress my intelligence, my creative energy, because I've always felt through some of the experiences that I've had that I'm too much for people, that I'm intimidating, that in some cases I think I'm better than they are. In some cases I am, but at the end of the day, your younger self doesn't tend to process those things as well, tend to take that very personally, because you're just trying to fit in. And I'm not trying to do that anymore. I really am not in the land of caring too much about, that. So I would be a lot kinder to my younger self if I had the opportunity to go back.
I think Lydia and I have reached the same mental space in terms of our art practice, and by that I mean we are concentrating on what fills our own cups and concentrating on building our community and uplifting others and seizing opportunities for ourselves, but also making space and opportunities for other folks in our community. And so working with Lydia has been really mind-altering in terms of the expansion of someone who cares so much about their own practice and what they're doing, and gaining inspiration from that, and also seeing my own craft in a completely different view, and even getting an opportunity to sit in her studio space is really transformative, because you don't often get to be in the space where the art is being created, someone else's art, and it really does create a new sense of purpose and comfort and home to be collaborating on pieces like this together.